NTA International News.
Federal government reaffirms its commitment to secure the country's waterways despite daunting challenges. Ondo APC endorses President Muhammadu Buhari for second term. And Minister of Power, Works and Housing says meter is free. Hello and welcome to NTR International News at this time. My name is Justin Bemunye and thank you for joining us. The federal government has said it will leave no stone unturned in securing its waterways despite daunting challenges. Minister of Transport Rotimi Amechi stated this at a Maritime Stakeholders Interactive Forum in Warri, Delta State, organized by the Federal Ministry of Transport. Eloho Agbra has details.
Operations of vessels in the marine world, in our marine environment, causes a lot of devastation to the communities.
In pulling the strings, in double taxation, in triple taxations, please be aware that other countries are taking benefits.
The government should urgently and aggressively improve security in Nigeria waterways.
Critical stakeholders in the maritime industry are apparently trying to fathom ways to make the industry overcome some challenges. The aim is to ensure the industry takes its pride of place in the Committee of Nations presently engaged in global best practices in the maritime sector. Having listened carefully to most of their complaints, the minister noted that government has put measures in place to tackle the issues of insecurity and dredging in the area.
There's procedure to procure a contractor. So MPA is making an arrangement to dredge Calabar Port and Warri Port. So that's not a problem. Where the problem is insecurity, and the government, you are aware, has awarded a quota of $195 million.
The bigger picture is that we want to get everybody working in the same direction to move the sector to the next level.
The theme of the second edition of the program is Implementation of Executive Order 1, Ease of Doing Business in a Secured Maritime Environment. From Warri, Elo Agbra, NTA News.
The Lake Chad Basin Commission says it now has a global plan to address challenges in the region, particularly areas worst affected by Boko Haram insurgency. The Executive Secretary of the Commission, Sanusi Imran Abdullahi, said this in Abuja at the Technical Experts Meeting preparatory to the International Conference on Lake Chad. Musbao Danwahab reports.
Lake Chad Basin Commission has been grossly constrained in carrying out its activities since 2014 in the region due to the Boko Haram insurgency. With the terrorist group now degraded, the Commission now has additional task of taking part of the responsibility to rebuild areas worst hit by insurgency.
There is a global plan to address the challenges in the region, particularly areas worst affected by Boko Haram, as a joint effort together with all the member countries. Northeast of Nigeria, parts of Cameroon, part of Niger, and part of Chad. So we will put some of those projects there as we continue to address the insecurity.
And as the Commission sets agenda for the forthcoming International Conference on Lake Chad, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Water Resources, Musa Ibrahim says Nigeria's government is committed to the cause of restoring the lake.
The government of Nigeria is very passionate about the sustainable development of the Lake Chad Basin and is willing to take necessary measures, all necessary measures, to revitalize the lake.
The Commission believes that the Inter-Basin Water Transfer Project remains the best option for reviving the fast-depleting lake. President Muhammadu Buhari approved the hosting of a conference which is expected to be declared open on Monday by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. In Abuja, Musbao and Wahab, NC News.
Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduji of Kano State has described the missing of students at Government Girls Science and Technical College, Dapchi, as a tragedy. The governor stated this when he visited Governor Ibrahim Gaidam to commiserate with him over the incident. Mustafa Yusuf Musa reports.
Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje of Kano State came visiting his Yobe State counterpart Ibrahim Gaidam to sympathize with him, parents and people of the state over missing students of Gammon Girls Science Technical College, Dapchi. Ganduje told his host that this has further taken the country back in its effort of crushing Boko Haram to extinction. The Kano State governor called on people of Yobe State to continue to partner with government and security operatives in tracking down the whereabouts of the students and return them to their parents safely.
What has just happened now is reawakening our minds that we are still with this very unfortunate incidents.
Governor Ibrahim Gaidam informed him that the girls' college has a student population of 906, but after the Boko Haram attack, the number reduced to 882, giving a shortfall of 82 students. He said during meeting with the theater commander of Operation Lafayette Dole in Dapchi, he requested for redeployment of military personnel in the area to enhance security along the exits.
It is not all the 84 girls were adopted, so you should not go and issue any statement unless we wait for the next 1 week or so to see that, to find out whether or not some of these girls have reached their homes.
The recent Boko Haram attack on Dapchi, headquarters of Bursari local government area of Yobe State, and subsequent missing of some students has left in its wake grief and frustration in the community and the state in general. In Damaturu, Mustafa Yusuf Musa, NTA News.
The anniversary of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) is providing an opportunity for the union to reflect on its struggles, successes and challenges, as well as articulate an agenda for the next 10 years. Emmanuel Ayimiro reports that the NLC is marking its 4 decades of existence with activities at national and state levels.
Inaugurated in February 1978, the Nigerian Labour Congress has had a checkered history of struggles, prescriptions, internal wranglings and many successes in the cause for improved workers' welfare. In a week's time, the Congress will be 40 and it is not going to be a silent celebration.
One of the things that this Congress is noted for is fighting unjust policies of government, which is still prevalent even as we sit today. There is no substitute for a labor movement that is bogus and visionary like the NLC.
As the NLC considers the future of world of work, individuals' contributions to the development of the NLC and the working class movement in Nigeria is to be celebrated. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
The federal government has taken yet another bold step by adding Osun State to the list of states across the country to run digital television broadcasting in Nigeria. The Osogbo switchover in Osun State brings to 6 the successful digital rollout with the pilot in Jos, the Plateau State capital. Anthony Forson reports.
The Osogbo switchover by Integrated Television Services, ITS, one of the 2 signal distributors, demonstrated the federal government's commitment to pursue the broadcast digitization project in Nigeria to a logical conclusion. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed at the ceremony commended all the stakeholders for keeping faith with the project, singling out ITS for working hard to make the Osogbo switchover successful.
So I want to take this opportunity to invite all the players to join in this unstoppable trade. In this trade, there is something for everyone.
He said Nigeria is edging towards building the biggest and most lucrative free-to-air television platform in Africa. Liking the television revolution in Nigeria to the telecommunications sector, advertisers and content producers, the minister maintained, are in for big business. Governor of the state of Osun, Rauf Aregbesola, said the beauty of the DSO project underscores the Information and Culture Minister's position that there is something for every player in the industry, but was quick to warn on content abuse.
As free as this is, it can be abused. So, and I'm happy federal government being conscious of this has set up regulations to ensure that Nigerians are not fed with rubbish. You will have fake news. You have dubious news. You have violent news. So such material must never be allowed to get into this medium.
Goodwill messages from the National Assembly pointed at assurances to support the project to its logical conclusion for the benefit of Nigerians. Director General Nigerian Television Authority and Chairman Integrated Television Services, in an open letter to the minister read at the ceremony, showered encomium on the minister for his steadfastness in mobilizing stakeholders in a positive direction.
Honorable Minister, I cannot end this open letter without acknowledging your support in my other role as the Director General of the NTA. I assure you, Honorable Minister, that I do not for a moment take your support for granted.
The National Broadcasting Commission says 2 more states, Delta and Gombe, have been lined up for the next rollout. In Osogbo, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
In the meantime, the present administration has been commended for ensuring that all Nigerians, no matter their financial status, have access to quality digital terrestrial television. Residents of Osogbo and its environs at the launch of digital switchover applauded the unwavering commitment to national development. Adebra Brooksland Sunday was there.
From the entry points to the venue are youths dressed to suit the occasion. Arrays of cameras were also lined up to capture every moment. The arrival of the governor, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, and other dignitaries became a booster to the launch, where keynote speakers, including the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, who is the chairman, Integrated Television Services, highlighted some benefits the people have to enjoy, especially quality signals. The rate at which the signal distributors, Integrated Television Services and Pinnacle's Communication are switching on the nation's cities has been attributed to the political will of the Buhari-led administration.
We must also appreciate the Minister of Information and also Mr. President, who has really created the enabling environment for ITS to take these giant strides in deployment of free television across the country.
Some of the residents of the city ensured they purchased the decoder, subsidized to 1,500 by the federal government.
It's a kind of opportunity that is very rare. Actually, you can have a set-top box and every channel on it is free.
Me, I'm very, very happy, and you can see many people, they're happy buying it here and there.
Subscribers stand to watch about 30 channels free of charge, which will then be reactivated after a year. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
A coalition of Nigerian youth under the auspices of Buhari Oshinbajo and APC Governors Continuity Network has flagged off its support for the re-election of APC-led governments at the national and state levels. Ibrahim Bello Gunda says the flag-off was held at Arewa House, Kaduna.
The youth, drawn from different parts of the country, decided to form network for the re-election of President Buhari Osibanjo and APC governors for the unity and progress of Nigeria. Speaking through Muhammad Salisu, the national chairman of the network, Haruna Muhammad, described the current set of APC leaders in the country as the best option in the nation's quest for change. He noted that the development in the economy and the fight against corruption and dishonest leadership being championed by the Buhari administration are some of the reasons to support the government.
President Muhammad Buhari have met all these qualities and even more. His dynamism, visionary leadership and style set him apart from the rest aspirant parading themselves.
Some of the members reiterated their commitment to converse for support for the re-election of Buhari Osibanjo and all APC governors due to their high performance profile across the country. The gathering revealed that the network Buhari Osibanjo and APC Governors Continuity 2019 will organize 10 million man march in Abuja with representatives from all over the country as part of activities for the re-election. In Kaduna, Ibrahim Bello Gunda, NTA News.
In the related development in Akure, the All Progressives Congress APC in Ondo State has endorsed President Muhammadu Buhari for second term in office. The consensus was reached at a unification rally of the party held in Akure, Ondo State capital. Doris Olomuko has details.
The APC unification rally in Ondo State is part of activities marking the 1 year in office of Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, where his counterparts from other states and party bigwigs rated his scorecard high and lauded President Muhammadu Buhari for the confidence reposed in the candidature of Akeredolu.
You cannot go wrong. The sun will shine brighter on you.
This fourth anniversary demonstrates that the best is yet to come. They have not disappointed us. I saw what he has achieved within just 1 year.
Ondo State Governor, Mr. Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, thanked the president for his genuine interest and support for Ondo State, which he said has propelled him to drive the state to greater heights and to benefit more. The governor and other members of the party unanimously endorsed President Muhammadu Buhari for second term in office.
Ondo State endorsed him. Ondo State endorsed him. We endorse Buhari for second term.
The unification rally provided opportunity for some members of other political parties to defect to the APC in Ondo State, and they were received by the party's national chairman, Chief John Odigye Oyegun, in Akure. Doris Ulumoko, NTA News.
If you're just joining us, this is the news on NTA International reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria. We'll take a short break now. Stay tuned for more news when we return.
Exotic land of rainbow, a giant in the sun, rich in human and natural resources, a land of cultural diversity for tourists' appreciation. Nigeria occupies 923,766 square kilometers, accommodating over 250 indigenous languages. It is a wonderful environment for leisure and business. Nigeria, land of milk and honey, a paradise for tourists.
Say it as it is.
We always believe in going to mosque and going to church without looking at the nitty-gritty of even the family value.
If I am the president of the country or the Senate, we will publish every state what they collected. And in the next 6 months, we'll go to the state to say, if nothing has happened in this state, hold your governor to ransom.
Without that bill in place, no scientist in Nigeria is allowed to practice.
Issues of the moment. Join us every Tuesday on NTA International at 7:30 p.m. Issues of the moment. Let your opinion count.
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
You're welcome back. Nigerian universities have been told to research and analyze the implication of impending development in various sections of economy and proffer solutions to government and all concerned to mitigate the effect of the increased population. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this in a message at the 22nd convocation ceremony of the University of Abuja. Abdullahi Musa Sulija has details.
Apart from impacting knowledge, instilling discipline and molding character, universities are institutions where intellectuals make high-valued inputs in providing answers for societal development. Deputy Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, who represented President Buhari, said it is incumbent on the university to deliver on their mandate as catalysts of industrialization and knowledge economy.
What implication will this population growth have on security of lives and property, infrastructure, and other sectors of the economy?
I would like to urge you to rise up to the challenges that the country is now grappling with in terms of economic and social sectors.
7,148 comprising undergraduate and postgraduate students graduated, which produced 16 first-class honors. Meanwhile, at the pre-convocation lecture by the Secretary to the Government of Adamawa State, Dr. Umar Bender, entitled University of 21st Century, the role of science and technology. The guest lecturer said universities have no business waiting for government funding.
In many universities, the workshops and laboratories are there. Transform those sciences into solutions or technologies that can immediately, short-term or long-term, solve Nigeria's problems and make money out of it.
University of Abuja was established in 1988. Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
The quintessential value of peace for the growth and development of Nigeria as a nation with potentialities for greatness has re-echoed. This was at an investiture of some Nigerians for their contributions in the search for lasting peace, unity and religious tolerance for the good of the country. Omenka Amarachuku reports.
Historical experience has shown that a society can obtain continuous and steady development only when there is love, peace, and harmonious coexistence among the people. Religion has power to bring people together, especially when they inject religious tolerance among their followers. And the case of Nigerian religious among Muslims and Christian faithfuls and the rest of the society perhaps informed the Freedom Seminary Institute award for some Nigerians from various walks of life, both old and young. National Coordinator Buhari Friends Organization, Athanasius Okon, got the attention of the Institute for his dogged commitment and belief in one Nigeria and its progress under Buhari's administration.
I've been an advocate for a better society. I've been fighting hard to see that Nigeria as a country should be better for an average poor person to have a sense of belonging. And
we're talking about honor that has to do with humanity. And it's what I love doing most. Reaching out to people that are in need. Now, this is a title in recognition for the bits that has been done.
NTA Director News was the special guest of honor.
Talking about true education, you have to take solace with the Lord. And that is injecting the values of human being himself as the best creation of God himself. I'm talking about religious education, theology and worldview, but Islamic and Christian religious knowledge is one of the fundamentals of education. Without knowing yourself, knowing where you come from, how you come from, you wouldn't have projection for the future.
The atmosphere was vibrant, depicting the assertion that diversity that makes Nigeria unique is the strength that makes unity in focusing for greater future. In Abuja, Omenka Marachuku, NTA News.
Nigerian children are lending their voices to issues affecting the environment and the need for its protection. At the 2018 Health Week of the Pacesetters School in Abuja, students made presentations on the effects of climate change and the need to be proactive. Representatives of the World Health Organization's American and Japanese embassies in Nigeria and the Ministry of Environment sensitized the children on their role in protecting the environment.
I want you to think about what you can do on a daily basis to reduce the amount of particulate in the air. Because as your theme has said, this is all our responsibility.
Chairman, Pacesetters School, Kenneth Iman Swabon, commended President Muhammadu Buhari for his initiative of cleaning up the Ogoni land, while urging Nigerians to support government initiative in tackling environment challenges.
Responsibility as a school to catch the children young, educate them, create their awareness, make them know what they are doing. Look at our environment, for example, the Ogoni issue. The Ogoni cleanup, wonderful action by Mr. President.
Were made on water pollution and its implication to living things and personal safety and injury prevention. The Supreme Court has ruled that the Independent National Electoral Commission should create a constituency that will accommodate the interest of the people of Bakassi in Cross River State for elections. Lelia Tumbi reports.
In this case, the right of the people of Bakassi to vote or be voted for as Nigerians was not in contention, as they have been relocated to a Babrio local government area of Cross River State. The two issues in contention in the matter are whether the boundary adjustment by the Cross River State House of Assembly is binding on INEC and under whose purview lies the power to create constituency. The first issue was resolved that Order 7 of the Cross River State House of Assembly merely adjusted the boundary, hence does not have a binding effect on INEC. Justice John Okoro, leading a panel of justices, also ruled that the delineation of constituency falls within the purview of INEC. In the light of this, the Supreme Court set aside the judgment of the Appellate Court, which had earlier ruled otherwise. The court equally ordered that INEC should do the needful to accommodate the interest of the people of Bakassi.
Well-considered judgment. We had no doubt as to what would be the outcome.
But they can go ahead and create the constituencies now in the current Bakassi, which have been validly created by law number 7.
The court also acknowledged that the people of Bakassi have suffered a lot of setbacks, that respite should come their way through appropriate delineation.
We look forward to INEC to do the needful as directed by the courts.
This matter has been lingering over time, and today a clear-cut direction has been made by the highest court in the land.
So this judgment puts to rest any legal argument that the state laws could have a binding effect on the constitutional powers of the Independent National Electoral Commission.
The needful in this judgment is for the Independent National Electoral Commission to create a constituency for the people of Bakassi in Abuja, Dele, Atumbi, NTA News.
Electricity customers in Nigeria complain of perceived non-availability of prepaid meters and the pains that come with estimated billing. In the midst of this lamentation, the government and the distribution companies claim there is a great improvement in the supply of prepaid meters. Let me not sound judgmental as Mio Gidi goes to the field to find out the myriad of challenges and prospects in the demand and supply of prepaid meters in power sector.
But categorically, I want to put it across that we do not charge meters.
If somebody tells you it's free and when you come, you have it just like that, it's not that way.
How do you get a prepaid meter?
I went to a regional office and I applied. And when it was processed, I was called upon. And an installer came and installed it for me.
Situations like this reveal how critical the issue is when both the businessman and the customer always try to be on the defensive. Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, in its last count in 2017, estimates that 6 million households in Nigeria consume electricity, and out of this number, only 3 million households are metered. So the unmetered 3 million pay theirs through an estimated billing.
I will buy a card of, let's say, 3,000. It will take me like 1 month. But when they were giving me estimated bill, 20,000.
Stop giving people fixed charges. It's unfair.
In order to ensure that all customers are metered free, a progressive tariff policy was worked out by the current administration with distribution companies.
Consumers are classed in different categories. R1, for example, is the most vulnerable consumer. Their tariff is 4 naira per kilowatt hour. They must not pay more than this. Those are people who don't use just more than a light bulb. Then there's R2. Those are people who have the basics, TV, one fridge. And then there's R2 3-phase. That's you and I with DSTV, air conditioning and all of that. Those are the people whose tariffs really went up. When you flip it around, it's almost like a type of cross-subsidy. Let those who can afford pay more. Let the poorest of the poor stay where they are. And that was part of the incentive to force the discos to meter.
For instance, the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company in 2017 procured 120,000 prepaid meters, but customers still have their reservations about the availability of these meters.
Why are you not using prepaid meter?
Actually, I've applied, but it has not been given to me. I think it's almost famous that a sheet of this paper was collected from me.
If we just implant meters all over the place, then you cannot have control of the meters. You lose value. Meters can be shortchanged, can be bypassed, can be stolen. So first we must get the full details. And where enumerators have passed, the next level is the mass rollout.
Some of the distribution companies attribute the non-availability of prepaid meters to the cost of importation, but local manufacturers hold different opinion.
We have the capacity of producing up to 1.1 million a year, and this will create more jobs.
It is indeed a complex and controversial issue in the distribution segment of the power value chain, but in the words of the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, achievements in the power sector are incremental and cannot be resolved in a day. Mie Ogidi, NT News.
In a related development, Lagos is home to 4 out of the 6 manufacturers of electricity prepaid meters that operate in the country. Their emergence is informed by the availability in the power sector. Musa Toliat in this report takes a look at the availability of local meter manufacturers, challenges and way of boosting local content in the power sector.
Prepaid meters over the years has resulted in inappropriate charges imposed on electricity consumers by power distribution companies in the country.
It's the day that they want to collect bill that they will give us light.
At the end of the month, they will be carrying ladder up and down to disconnect the wire.
Had it been that they have disputed prepaid meter, all this crazy bill will stop.
This challenge is not unconnected with the inability of the power distribution companies to fund the metering process, thereby creating a gap that required the intervention of the federal government. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, therefore, came up with a regulation that paved the way for the emergence of prepaid meter manufacturers to address metering gap challenge.
We are releasing the opportunities that lie in part of the electricity value chain, which is meter production, meter supply, meter installation. There's an opportunity for meter supply business by people who are not discos.
According to the Electricity Meter Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, local producers have a combined production capacity of 1.2 million meters per annum. These meters, they revealed, are produced to meet the specifications of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission.
General safety test to ensure that the meter can withstand heat, that the meter will not burn. That's the first test that we saw. After that, we saw the accuracy test in 2 stages, trying to ensure that the meters read accurately by sampling.
The meter manufacturers, however, want the federal government to place a total ban on importation of electricity meters. This is with a view to boosting their patronage, enhance their expansion, create more jobs, as well as stem capital flight in the power sector. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
And meanwhile, from Enugu comes a report that with the recent federal government's policy on electricity metering, which places a ban on power charges without metering, electricity consumers in the southeast have placed a high demand on smart metering. Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, EEDC, says the demand is meeting the supply. Chiogonu Aro reports.
The federal government has committed over 10 million naira to smart metering in Enugu district, which covers the 5 states of the southeast geopolitical zone. The groundbreaking ceremony was held in Enugu 2 months ago through the Nigerian Electricity Management Services Agency, NEMSA. The spokesperson of the EEDC said the smart hybrid prepaid meters are user-friendly with pre-inserted microchips that will put a stop to meter bypass by fraudulent customers, which is the major challenge of the EEDC.
All our active MD customers, that's the maximum demand customers, have been metered. We're metering our residential and individual customers, and we're deploying smart meters. So the metering gap that we inherited is gradually being closed up by this effort.
Some electricity consumers speak on the challenges of acquiring the prepaid meters.
And most times when you do even register or apply to get one, it's not forthcoming. Most of the neighbors and friends that I have believe that they cannot get meters without going through the back door.
I don't think it's possible that EDC can give you meter free of charge.
The worst we've experienced in light, we hardly do get light. I don't know, they should do whatever is possible for us to have light, that's all.
Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, EEDC, has taken delivery of thousands of smart meters which are currently undergoing activation process before distribution. In Enugu, Chiegonu Aro, NTA News.
And from the east to the south-south, the demand and supply of smart meters by the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company, PHED, is still a subject of attention of racketeering, even as supply appears to be on hold at the moment. Kingsley Amaju reports that electricity consumers in Port Harcourt are concerned not just about alleged meter racketeering, but also the exorbitant estimated bills without value for money paid.
A greater number of residential homes in Port Harcourt and its environs still use old metering and estimated billing system. Attempts were, however, made in the third quarter of 2017 by PHED to embark on the installation of smart prepaid meters to residential homes, which was limited to some few areas of the city. But for some few areas of the city where the prepaid meters were distributed free of charge, a number of the residents say their experience with PHED officials to get the smart meters were fraught with sharp practices, as they were compelled to pay between 10,000 and 30,000 naira to get the single-phase meters installed in their homes.
And if you request for the prepaid meter, they will say there is no prepaid meter.
Or someone in this area, first of all, she come, she will be, she will be threatening you till you buy an illegal meter. You pay for the meter. No, she will collect 30,000, but she won't give you receipt. But the bill that they are bringing, they are not after the bill. When they come, they will only bring an estimated bill. Okay, now we are not saying that here.
With shortfall in supply, electricity consumers are compelled to pay these fees to get the smart meters and moderate how they use the power or continue to use the old metering system.
Instead of overestimated bill. So prepared meter is a little fair, only that the tariff is high.
NTA News visited the head office of PHED to ascertain the company's measures to reduce the ugly experience of consumers, but
officials of the PHED were not available to respond to some of these allegations, as attempts were made to get them respond were unsuccessful. From the PHED head office here in Rivers State, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
From Lafia, it is still work in progress by the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, AEDC, on metering customers for efficient service delivery. Joshua Jito reports.
At a consumer awareness forum, the national state government raised issues about estimated billing by the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, whose franchise areas also include Niger and Kogi states, as well as the FCT. In July of preceding year, the company pledged to provide 1,500 meters to its customers in Lafia. To many residents, the initiative is not effective because they're content with paying estimated bills due to lack of meters, as others lack the awareness of how the process works.
No. My personal reason why I did not apply was because I heard about it and I seems not to be encouraged with the system.
We applied for it, but up to now they did not give us.
They gave us a process that we should go and write for the application and then submit it, which I'm preferring to do so.
Investigation shows the challenge is the same for other densely populated areas of the state, with the exception of Karu, which is the cash cow of the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, due to a number of maximum demand customers who are willing to pay. For Nasarawa State, the challenge of stability in the sector is beyond market issues. The government is working to provide the much-needed infrastructure, as exemplified with the foundation stone laying of the Lafia 330 kV substation during the president's visit and inauguration of injection substation. In Lafia, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
You're still watching the news on NTR International from Abuja, Nigeria. Another break beckons on the news. We shall be back with more news in a moment. Please stay with us.
International News. Africa as it is.
The whole problem started with the oil boom.
Because the parliament is the assembly of the people.
Frontiers, analyzing topical issues across the globe. It's analytical, educative, and incisive.
Traditionally, our people, are liberal in the sense that they sit down and dialogue among themselves.
The standards of the products that they bring into the country are not the same standards that they take in other countries where they invest in.
Let's look inwards and fight for the right thing always.
Explore all sides of issues. Showing on NT International every Wednesday at this time. Don't miss it. Thank you for staying with us. Troops of Operation Ayem Akpatuma deployed to Katinala Zakibiam have arrested 6 suspected armed robbers at Obo village in Benue State. A statement from the Assistant Director, Army Public Relations of 707 Special Forces Brigade, Nigerian Army, Major General Olabisi Ayeni, says troops also recovered the suspected armed barrels, weapons, and motorcycles. The suspects have been handed over to the police for further investigation and prosecution. An eye care initiative for children within the ages of 5 to 14 years, tagged My Sight, My Right, has taken place in Owerri, Imo State, as part of activities marking 50 years of eye health service in Nigeria. Correspondent Kate Osuawa reports that Imo State government is lending support to the initiative to reduce the prevalence of avoidable visual impairment by 25% in 2019.
Unveiling the initiative, Imo State Commissioner for Health, who was also the chairman on the occasion, Dr. Angelo Wakwem, stated that the initiative, which is in line with the health of the Nigerian child, should receive government attention.
We will also support them to use the specialist hospital to help those who are within town.
Other stakeholders at the event commended the passion of the Nigerian Optometrics Association to reduce eye defects among school children. They described poor vision as inimical to success in academics and nation building. According to experts, more than 80% of cases of visual impairment, including blindness, are preventable and treatable with simple and cost-effective moves. Worried by this challenge, the national president of the association, Dr. Damian Echendu, said the body is intervening with measures including provision of spectacles and cataract surgery to improve eyesight.
Every last Friday of the month, starting from March 2018, for the next 10 months, volunteer private eye clinics across the Federation operated by registered doctors of optometry.
Imo State has already keyed in even before the initiative was launched.
High points of the event was free eye check for school children drawn from different schools.
How we can take care of our eyes is by protecting our eye from diseases.
We are happy for a thing like that. So most of the children have been fished out.
The national president also said plans are underway for training of school teachers for proper identification of those with poor vision for corrective measures. Nigerian Optometric Association says accessible quality vision and eye health is the right of every child as it celebrates 50 years of existence. From Owerri, Kate Osunwa, NTA News.
Let's now join Uche Wizu to bring us highlights of strategic events of the week on our Weekend Review segment of the news.
Good to know you're there. The world re-strategizes to contain security challenges and boost the economy. Nigeria is not an exception, as evident in the events of the outgoing week. The National Council of States met to chart the way forward.
The commitment shown today and the zeal by the Council to bring this to an end is so clear.
Council appreciated the efforts that have been put in place to move Nigeria away from recession.
Efforts at degrading the Boko Haram group were thwarted with the abduction of some students of Girls Science Technical College, Dapchi, in Yobe State, but the government and security agencies are not resting on their oars. Meanwhile, the second stage of the federal government's fast-track trial of Boko Haram suspects has ended with the court ordering of the release of 475 suspects for lack of evidence linking them to any terrorist act. However, 200 others were sentenced to various terms of imprisonment. Staying with security, the Nigerian police commenced nationwide operation to curb the proliferation of prohibited firearms and illegal weapons. To other issues in the course of the week, at the first Adamawa Anti-Corruption Summit in Yola, need for transparency, accountability and social values at all levels of governance was re-echoed.
The drive to achieve value for money, as demonstrated by the administration, is worthy of note. I recommend to other states this model, along with all the winning approaches, to enhance the progress and development of our nation.
In another development, Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed, at a workshop on hate communication in Nigeria, urged media organizations not to provide their platforms for hate speech.
That the media takes this issue seriously is very encouraging, because in most cases, the media, wittingly or unwittingly, provides the platform for the dissemination of hate speech.
Turning attention to the economy now, a total of 635.554 billion naira have been shared to the three tiers of government as revenue accrued to the Federation account in the month of January. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives considered a bill that seeks to establish the Excess Revenue Fund account. And the Senate passed 3 bills, among which is the National Agricultural Seeds Council Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2018. In strengthening the economy through agriculture, the World Bank, through FADAMA 3, distributes heavy-duty farming and processing equipment to address post-harvest losses. In similar vein, the 2018 first extraordinary session of ECOWAS Parliament ended in Dakar with the adoption of Regional and National Agricultural Investment Plan for 2016 to 2025. In the week under review, Nigeria hosted the first International Petroleum Summit aimed at highlighting investment opportunities in the sector. On politics, the APC Governors Forum formally asked President Buhari to recontest in the 2019 presidential election. To douse tension arising from alleged underage persons on voters' register in Kano, INEC set up an 8-man committee to investigate the matter. And the Supreme Court ruled that INEC should create a constituency to accommodate the interests of the people of Bakassi in Cross River State in elections. During the week under review, the first annual public lecture on foreign service held in Abuja with demands for Nigerians' foreign policy to be such that will project the country's potential to the world.
The Foreign Service has a role and a duty to influence policy at home, to consistently nudge the government to take action where necessary in a proactive and engaged manner.
On sports, Nigeria's para-powerlifting team returned victorious from Dubai with 4 gold medals from the World Paralifting Cup. That's it from here. Hope your memory is refreshed. I am Uche Mwezu.
Thank you very much, Uche Mwezu. Now, for some happenings in the world of business, here is Rachel Shaibu.
The Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele says the total amount disbursed under the Anchor Borrowers Program since the commencement of the program is 55.5 billion naira to over 250,000 farmers. This is coming on the heels of reports that the CBN has again intervened in the retail secondary market intervention sales to the tune of $321.4 million. The Debt Management Office DMO says the federal government sold 79.62 billion naira worth of bonds in its second auction for 2018 out of the 100 billion naira on offer. The DMO indicated in a circular that half the total subscribed was skewed towards the 10-year bond. It also noted that while the 10-year bond was oversubscribed, the 5-year bond was undersubscribed. Mozambique Ministry of Economy and Finance says it will present to its creditors the key elements of debt restructuring proposal and give an update to the fiscal and macroeconomic situation at a meeting in London. This is because government remains committed to finding a consensual and collaborative resolution to the current debt situation through dialogue. The debt-ridden country has been in turmoil since 2016. Rachel Shaibu, NTA News.
And time now for stories trending on the international scene as put together by Nancy Godi-Anonihu.
Two large explosions in Somalia's capital city, Mogadishu, have killed at least 38 people and injured dozens. One attack took place at the gate of the presidential palace, while a second hit near the office of the National Intelligence Agency. Officials say 5 of the attackers were shot and killed. The Islamic militant group Al-Shabaab, which opposes Somalia's UN-backed government, has claimed responsibility. In the related development, 3 bombs have exploded in the capital of Myanmar's restive province, Rakhine. Police authorities say it is unclear who is behind the attack, as a police officer was slightly injured, while no other casualty has been reported. The U.S. State Department has confirmed that the Trump administration will now move America's Israeli embassy to Jerusalem in mid-May, coinciding with the 70th anniversary of Israel's founding. It will be recalled that the Vice President Mike Pence late January said the controversial embassy will be open in 2019. This, reports say, has infuriated Palestinian leaders and jeopardized the American role as a mediator in the Middle East peace process. European Council President Donald Tusk has said that the UK's approach to the next stage of Brexit negotiations seems to be based on pure illusion. At a conference in Brussels, Mr. Tusk observed that the UK was still trying to cherry-pick a future relationship with the EU. This is coming as British Prime Minister Theresa May is set to deliver a key speech on British ambitions Friday next week. Nancy Godi-Anonihu, NTA News.
And now talking sports, Nigeria's Super Falcons have secured bronze at the 2018 Women Waffle Cup in Cote d'Ivoire by beating Mali by 2-1 in the third-place match as the country's power lifters arrived the country from Dubai with gold medals. This and more on Sports Update with George Gift.
The Nigerian powerlifting team to the 9th FASA World Paralympic Powerlifting Cup in the United Arab Emirates comprised 2 male and 2 female athletes. They arrived in Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, each with a gold medal. The competition is part of the qualifiers for Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Paul Kehinde in the 65kg class and Fola Shade Oluwafemi Ayo in the 86kg class set new world records. Paul Kehinde broke his personal world record of 220.5 kg to lift 221 kg, while Shade Oluwafemi Ayo broke a former world record from 145 kg to lift 146 kg.
The reason why we didn't come back with the cup because we were only 4 athletes that went. The country Ukraine that took the cup came with 7 athletes and they took only 5 gold medals. If we had more athletes, that cup would have been in this country.
In boxing, the Nigerian Boxing Federation rounded its 9 weeks campaign for the Commonwealth Games in Australia with an invitational training trials with boxers from Ghana. For 2 days, the selected boxers tested their skills and stamina against their Ghanaian counterparts. Out of 13 bouts, Nigeria won 9.
Bringing Ghanaian boxers to come and try in the camp with our boxers, honestly, is an eye-opener.
This is not a fight. It's just like a sparring.
The boxing team is expected to depart for Abuja Sunday, where they will join other federation athletes for further preparations. In basketball, Nigeria's men's basketball team, the D Tigers, continued its quest to qualify for China 2019 FIBA Basketball World Cup by beating Rwanda in a second Group B match. The Nigerian side, who had defeated Uganda on Thursday, this evening in Mali, beat Rwanda by 108-53.
And a long jump shot from Zana, who's come out and made a little bit of an impact here at the end of the game.
With sports updates, George Gift, NTA News.
Now have a quick check for Sunday's weather prospect in Nigeria and some world cities. A weather forecast there ends the news on Intl International. Thank you very much for your time with us. I'm Justin Bemunyi.